So yeah, hi, I'm Nicolas Gebbe. I'm a filmmaker from Germany, Frankfurt. And I work in experimental 3D animation and experimental sound. And I'm showing a set of short films at Intersection Festival and some immersive work. So I also work in VR and 360-degree planetarium films. And yes, my work consists mostly of 3D animated experimental short films where I tend to take samples from the real world and take it into the digital and deconstruct it in some way to open new perspectives.
Okay. What references have helped you to create your own way of creating and your own style?
Yes. So I started my studies in fine arts, and then I built set designs, and I went from there to film, and from there to animation, and went through different animation processes. And then at some point I met 3D animation, and I really liked the possibilities, and it kind of also reminded me of building sets, except that I now did it in the 3D world. And references, I'm not sure what kind of references. I think a lot of I think influences are early 3D animations and early visual worlds in the digital of like the early 2000s and 90s gaming experiences, and I think those aesthetics influence a lot of my work. Yeah.
Into it.
Chance?
Chance.
Yes. Yes. So my process depends from work to work, obviously, but something that is repeating itself in my daily practice is that I take samples of objects around me or spaces around me or the spaces I mostly move in, and then sample sounds or scans for 3D objects and build something like an archive of that, and then combine it and experiment it just like I would experiment with in film with footage. And so I have an archive, and then the big part of the process, and this is where also chance comes in, is experimenting with the samples I took and just mashing them together, changing parameters, looking at it from different perspectives, seeing what kind of sound I would want to use for what kind of 3D element, what kind of 3D element would emit what kind of sound that I feel like, and just playing with that really long until something happens. And then if I find something interesting, I implement it in the whatever the project is.
Sound also seems to play a really important role in your film, and seems to be something you are you devote a lot of attention into. What's your relationship with sound, and how does it help to build up your work?
Yes, it has been a big part of my projects from the beginning. I made music also as before, and before I made films actually, and I was actually one of my first short film, Der perfekte Ton, which is also shown, is something like that, where a person searches for the perfect sound in objects which doesn't exist, but for him it's like a search of what kind of what is an object emitting, but not in a sense of the real sound, but of the sound it's emotionally could inherit or something. And it's an important thing for me to connect the digital perspectives that I kind of create and digital elements to give them also I feel like a heart with the sound. Like it's not what you maybe expect of the object, but yeah, something that is part of the emotion or the heart of the object or something.
So the last question, we are in the last question. During the festival, you will show a focus of your work on the screen, but you also have special works in VR, works that are like experienced immersively. So if you can tell us more about those and how you approach this format.
Yes. Yes, the immersive works. I started actually with planetarium films, so with 360-degree films. That was before VR, and I kind of liked the immersive thing that you could choose where you could look and kind of build a narrative for yourself. And with the VR projects, yeah, you have to plan it differently. For example, for Lockdown Dreamscape that I screen here, I scanned my whole flat, and it's personal and really. It was for me it was a really good medium to transport that emotion, that this time of isolation and connectedness with those spaces, to transport that through like an immersive medium like VR. So the approach is, yeah, I feel like, okay, I have the medium, what do I want to transform through that medium, and I build the 3D spaces around that. Yeah.
This is a question of mine. But yesterday I tried the VR experience,
Yes.
and the movement like through the flat was very specific, and it was very cool. I was wondering like how did he come to, like he was here there at his flat or his studio, wherever he was, and he was planning all this movement, because it's like you're going on a trip, but also you are in this feeling that you cannot escape.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you plan that? How maybe it was by chance also, and trying like ways to work, but I think it was a very cool relationship with the movement and what you wanted to express.
Yes, it is also like, wait, yeah, no, yeah, it was how I came to that. I think it feels like you're a little bit on like a rail, you cannot move away, and you are, in some way, you also don't have to pay attention to the movement, It's like, okay, you go pretty slow through everything and have time to look around and explore like the area. And it's also, for me, it feels really, really slow, like also isolation and pandemic lockdown, and everything is repeating, like elements of the flat are like, I don't know, in the end of the film you probably saw them like 5 times or something, and so like this like slow kind of loop uh, movement I thought was perfect for that, and just putting the elements of the flat like right in a different order, right behind another. Yeah.